few good reviews. 18, you know what it is. I just run down albums that I haven't had much to say about, haven't had time to get to. Let's go. So Kil Moon has been on a downward spiral for me. Anyway, I just feel everything since Benji has not lived up to the incredible thought-provoking songwriting on that album. It really made you take things from a different perspective, the way he wrote his songs on there. I mean, Mark Hoslick, obviously, I think he can be an amazing songwriter. He has been for Red House Painters, but these lengthy 90-minute releases that they keep doing for the past few years have just been a huge slog. I actually think Universal Themes was just downright bad, and then the album last year, I actually pulled out quite a few tracks from it. That's the thing, like with these 90-minute releases, the same with This Is My Dinner, like there are the occasional tracks that stand out. Same with his last album, I Love Portugal was a standout for me. I thought that was a genuinely good tune. But other than that, I just find it such a slog to sit through the length of time. Call me a normie, but I don't think Mark Hoslick knows how to hone in like a singular song topic and make it into just like a 4 or 5 minute song. Why do you need to stretch it out for 10 minutes? It's just painful, honestly. And yeah, This Is My Dinner's kind of the same. I think the first track was kind of funny at first with the whole "this is not possible, this is possible" thing, but then it just gets tedious. The second track has that really funny line where he's talking about he gets with this girl, and he's like, why does her boyfriend care? We only had sex. It's just like, he does come out with hilarious lyrics every so often. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it just drags on. I think he's a good storyteller, but he doesn't know how to tell an efficient story. You know, like he doesn't know how to just keep it to the basics. He can make a good song, like on Candles. I think the instrumental here is wonderful, and the Rock and Roll Singer track was a pretty decent track too. But other than that, I think it's just ambient noise to me. Like, I just hear the instrumentals, I think they're nice, but then listening to him drone over them is hard. I don't think he's as interesting as he thinks he is, or as other people have pinned him up to be, actually. But again, you know, it's just my opinion. Call me a normie, but I just want some well-crafted songs like on Benji. I want that meandering of his thoughts, but just in a succinct way. Like, he can do that kind of thing because he did on Benji. His thoughts were all over the place, but there was a focus, and I just feel he's lost it. So yeah, this one was not very good to me. It was pretty average at best. Kelly Moran is a member of Warp Records. I must say, I don't know too much about her music, but after listening to this album, I can safely say that this is a nice addition to the record label. It's a really hypnotic, gorgeous sounding album that has some amazing sound collages and beautiful soundscapes playing across the entire thing. It can be pretty derivative at times, not in the sense that, oh, it's a really stale sound, but I guess she often goes for a very similar sound per track, so it ends up being pretty samey. But however, the sound that she produces is pretty astounding to listen to, so I could imagine people being sucked into this world of this album and being like amazed and in awe of what's going on here. And I would say for the most part it's actually pretty damn good, so do check this out. It's definitely a more unique release on this record label in recent time, I would say, and she certainly has some interesting ideas that could take her music to another level in the future. I just think she needs to kind of surprise me a little bit on an album, you know, maybe switch things up or add even more sound to the tracks that makes it, you know, a whirlwind of ideas coming together. But yeah, for what this is pretty damn good. Mick Jenkins. Why don't I love this? Why? Don't I love this? This is everything I've been wanting from Mick since The Waters. I mean, I've always had a soft spot for that album, I think. Oh, the concept gets played out a little bit, but I feel as though the songs on there are so strong. But then the follow-up releases were pretty weak, except for that one song, Drowning, with Bad Bad Not Good. That's a pretty amazing track. But this album, I feel like it's just focused. It's got a good theme running through it. His lyrics are great the whole way through. The production is really, really well produced. Like, it's a really gorgeous sounding album. But I just don't really like it that much. I don't know why. I can't. I don't know. What? It's a weird album, man, because you would just think like anyone would listen to it and be all over it, but I feel as though it's just missing something. Like it's too. Maybe it's just too smooth, and maybe it's just too pristine. Like it lacks that grit. It lacks a spark. Maybe that's what it is, but I just genuinely am baffled by this because I thought this would be something I'd fall in love with, but multiple listens, and I'm just not sure what it is that I'm not gravitating towards. But I would definitely recommend it. I think it's better than his last album, but still, it's got something that's just not there, and I don't really know why, but it's good. It is good, but I don't know what it is. One thing to expect from Soap and Skin's music is some really nice piano-led beautiful tracks, and that's pretty much what you get here. I think it sort of falters as the album goes on. I think vocally I just kind of get sucked out of it, but the first like 3 tracks are like where the best music comes for this album, because once you kind of get past that, it sort of gets samey. There's just not as much to grasp onto, but overall I'd say it's a pretty nice release, and definitely got one of the best album covers of the year as well. So yeah, I'd definitely give this one a listen. I think her 2012 album was the best release that I've heard from her, but this is a pretty nice one too, so do give it a listen. This was pretty average overall, I'd say. Like, I just listened to this and nothing impacted me whatsoever. There were a few moments that felt like it was trying a bit too hard to be eerie and spooky and chilling, but I don't know if I just wasn't in the right mood, but it just didn't really give me any of that feeling whatsoever. I've heard music from Objekt before and it was pretty cool, pretty creative, but this one to me just feels like I've heard it done quite a lot. I guess the more music in this style you hear, the less impact it may have on you or something. I don't know really, but yeah, the soundscapes, the details just weren't really as vibrant as I was hoping for. It's just not really the kind of electronic I find all that compelling, to be honest, but go check it out if you're interested, because I'm sure there'll be people out there that love this. Freddie Gibbs, Alchemist and Currency, a collaboration I was not expecting at all. I don't know if this was announced a while back or this is actually just a surprise drop, but either way I'd not heard anything about this. And yeah, it's just like a 9-track, 24 minutes, little short album. Never feels like it's overly long. It doesn't overstay its welcome at all. And Alchemist, I think, overshines everyone else here, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't mind Freddie Gibbs on this little album here, but I certainly don't feel as though he's matching the production with his flows or lyricism. I'm not saying that he's bad with anything on here, but I certainly find the production is just taking over everything, especially Currency, who barely feels like he's a part of this project at all, and when he appears, I'm just left wondering why or what his inclusion was. He's really nondescript across this entire thing. And yeah, Freddie has some pretty decent flows occasionally. I think it was track 6 or track 7. I think actually it was both of those. I thought he was doing some interesting things with his flow. He sounded really good on the beat. But yeah, just Alchemist, man. I think his production takes over the entire project, ends up making me just feel like it's overall pretty lackluster. And honestly, at this point, I'm just waiting for Bandana, because I feel like he's just dropping these mini albums to keep fans going, keep them a bit excited, keep the hype up until Bandana eventually comes out, which I think will be next year. So hopefully that'll be a bit better than what Freddie's been doing on his own. Not really the biggest fan of his solo stuff. I know that's not really a popular opinion, but honestly, I'm just not that big on his style without Madlib, and this little project here shows it for me. Currency, why he's here, I don't know, and yeah, it's just kind of average. Yeah.